Hi, I am Osman. I am an energy healer on a master level with telepathic capabilities. I specialize in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst also a host of other physiological, psychological, and also spiritual ailments. I am also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, practicing yoga for almost 50 years, teaching for 44 years, and in that period, learned under several masters of different aspects of yoga and created my own protocol simplified for the 21st century. Right? Um, Visit my website, yogawellness786.com, and download my free 5-minute yoga and meditation program uh, uh, you know, uh, that is a good, amazing starting point that I created on my own. And also remember, all my therapies are natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, how to win the heart of the love of your life or someone that you love very much? um, Someone who is not reciprocating your love. You met someone and amazed, you fell head over in leave. You got a crush on that person, right? It's crushing you how much you love that person, right? And that person simply got no time for you, not interested in you, and doesn't care about you, right? And doesn't want anything to do with you. And actually, they're going to get a court order, a restraining order against you if you're going to persist. And they may even label you as a stalker, right? So don't stalk the people and don't do that, right? So how do you win? Is there some way that you can win over someone that is not returning your love? Because I understand, right? You fell in love with this person and you want that person to love you back. So as a student, right, I used to, whilst I was in university, one of my games that I used to love playing is getting a target person randomly and finding a way to win them over, win their heart, so that we can enjoy intimacy together, right? Randomly, just to choose, right? And not all the time, right? But really, I mean, I'm not saying this is something good to do, right? Or bad, but let me explain. When you're practicing yoga and meditation, especially you're practicing from the age of 10, by the time you're in your 19, 18, 19 years old, because you're doing such a healthy practice, right? And you're doing it correctly, and that's all. I was lucky to be doing it correctly. Your body energies are amazingly aligned and balanced, right? And your testosterone or your energy is so high, much. I thought something was wrong with me psychologically, right? But later on I understood that due to the practice of yoga I was just absolutely healthy, right? And it's a great sign of health. And there was a time when I got married eventually, right? When I was ready, because I didn't want to get into a monogamous relationship if I'm going to be looking elsewhere all the time, right? Why are people unfaithful? Because they haven't satisfied that urge, to play the field, right? So I said, I want to get playing the field out of me. And whenever I met anyone, I told them, look, I'm not interested in a serious relationship. If you want something serious, I'm not your man, right? And I broke away from that. I didn't go out with the intention to break people's hearts and so forth, right? I didn't do that. They're happy and they want to have some fun, just have some fun. And I'm young and I wanted to. I said, before I become older and I want to be stable. So by the time I complete my studies and starting to work and want to settle down in a monogamous relationship and so forth, I must not, after settling down, start searching. I must be fed up of playing the field, right? So this was my hobby: make a target and win them over, right? So you have to understand that you are a person and that person is a totally different individual. Not only are they physically and psychologically somewhat different, they also have had experiences that molded who they are. They also have the belief systems. They come from a culture. They also have the taste, the likes, and the dislikes. All right. It's a very complex construct. So you need to win not 100% of the person for them to fall in love with you, right? You need to find the sweet spots, the weak spots, right? What makes them tick, right? And what they want really. So some of them were in monogamous relationships, right? In marriage relationships, right? Or had boyfriends and so forth, right? In a committed relationship. But I said, I want this person, right? If that person is so happy in that relationship, they will not be tempted to come to me, right? They will be happy with that person. So maybe I'm helping to save them, right? So I'm also, you must know, I'm young, right? I'm naughty, right? So I just like a baby. I want that person. I want that person. Just like how you fall in love with someone, you want that person. You want that person, right? So you have to study and find. You need to not go there. Yes, I'm in love with you. I want you. Whatever you are, I'll sell my mother's house for you. You can't go with that approach. People don't like people who's desperate for them. They like people who ignores them. Right? Why is it that the people you love so much don't love you back, but the people you don't love, they love you so much, right? Is this a mystery? No, it's not a mystery, right? Because you don't make yourself like that, like desperate. No one likes someone who's desperate. And yes, everyone says, every woman or man says, I love a person who worships me and loves me. But when the person worships you and loves you, you don't love that person anymore. You feel bored in that relationship, right? So you can't make yourself desperate, right? You must find a way. So I'll give you one classical example. So I just saw the person, and she happened to be a model, right? Was also a student, but funding her studies by being a model for magazines, right? Very beautiful. And I was not very handsome or very beautiful, right? I mean, yes, I had a good physique and so forth, I wasn't overweight or anything, and I was also, a good communicator and intelligent, right? Obviously, because practicing yoga, right? The higher levels of the brain is open. So communication and having good health and good energy levels and, positive minded, all that was there, in me due to the yoga. So I walked past, now I know I can't go and say approach her, right? So I just like by accident happened to be created an accident that I happened to be in a pathway that she's walking and I'm gonna walk, and just smiled and got her attention. She smiled back, right? Level one. And I left it and I went and ignored her, and she saw me, many other ignored and busy with my friends and everything. One day, and deliberately doing that I'm building up, that I smiled and she smiled, we connected there, and then I ignored her completely, right? For about a month, right? Then went, because we students in the same university, it was a small city, there's only one city, and I went to the city, and by chance I met her there in a clothing store, right? She was busy going through some clothing, choosing some items, and I happened to be there, and it was really an accident, right? And I saw her and I smiled again. She smiled because we smiled once before. And she smiled. I said, hey. And then because we were not in the same, we students in the same university, right? I said, hey, what you doing? I said, oh, I just came to this thing. I said, oh, okay. I saw you, in campus. And she said, yeah, yeah, I also saw you. Of course she saw you. Because you smiled and she returned that smile, right? Hey, okay, we should, have some coffee together sometime, because I think you're a very exciting and amazing person. Let's have some coffee and have a chat. Yeah, sure. Let's do it today. Why postpone it? Because life is so busy. We so busy. Okay, sure. What time is good for you? Right? I did that in that particular case, right? Not going to always work in all the case. I use different approaches and I found creativity, in finding. And then, of course, I was surprised that she's accepting, and every other student was surprised that such a beautiful model, right, professional model, is coming to me, right? And the coffee, there was an amazing coffee that same day, right? And there was someone else. She was really, a beautiful person and on campus, and I really wanted to, win her over, right? And but she was really someone very stubborn, like a ice cream, right? Like someone, part of the ice particles in the northern hemisphere, right? No emotion, absolutely cold, and only focused on the studies. But amazing beauty, right? And I like that, um, like hard to get. You want to go after like a trophy, right? That if you can capture this is like amazing. When you go fishing, when you catch the big fish, oh, you feel amazing. So she was like the big fish, right? And I did the same protocol, everything, and eventually I couldn't get her to accept a coffee or something. And she was from a region that I understood that she enjoyed wines. So I made an effort. Saved all what I could and bought a vintage wine, right? Not a very ancient, like millions of dollars wine, but for a student, this was like really busting the bank, right? Like paying like your semester fees, right? Type of thing, value buying that bottle of wine. Cause and then Kim said, "Hey, I've got this amazing wine. It's so special. And you, I believe, are the right person who will understand and appreciate this because I feel you." She says, "Wow, yeah, okay, I don't mind." I said, "No, nothing, just to come appreciate it, taste it, and let me know, right? Let's have a taste of it, and then you can go, right?" And now she knows the value of it, and of course she accepted. And it was a conversation. I thought it's going to end like everything else, happy ending, right? Sorry, no happy ending. She didn't even allow me to come forward or touch nothing, right? And it took time. And then because we had a conversation, I started to speak to her, like trying not to be desperate and coming across and visiting. And she was open to me visiting, right? And long as you're open to visiting and open to communication, this is the weak point in people. You must talk about things that they like, right? So there's a book called How to Win Friends, um, uh, How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? By Dale Carnegie. I did not read that book by that time. This was naturally I found an angle to speak on topics that was interest to us and like not becoming a pain, right? Speak on things like everyone has got something interesting that they're interested in. Sometimes it's very difficult to find it, but do some research. If the person now you're dying for this person, right? Head over heels. And continued and continued, and eventually there was, I think, after a 2 week period, right? For me, this was very long. It was like a lifetime, right? As a student, you must know I'm a student. 2 weeks is a long time to have happy ending, right? And it was such an amazing experience, right? I can't forget it to this day. The forbidden fruit, right? It's so delicious. And but the third story, right? I've given you two stories, right? One that was amazing system and was easy. Second one was very difficult. I did a lot of work. And the third one, I was crushed is not the word. I will give my life for that person. And they gave me reason, right, to fall in love with them. Because some people, they're not interested in, they just want to have a good time and they don't want to continue after that. They don't want to know you the next day, right? There's some people like that. And they didn't, it didn't mean something big for them, when they were with you. And but you took it very seriously and deeply because the happy ending was amazing for you, and you are it was a first love, or you're newly in love, or you didn't have know a person like this, and this person is perfect in every way, and they showed some tenderness and care for you that day, right, or that period. And after that, they don't, they're not interested in you. I promise you, I spent years, like 10 years, trying to get that person, doing everything, sacrificing, doing the impossible, achieving things to impress her, and achieve such high levels of success, right? Such high levels. Even I couldn't believe that it was possible for me to attain it. Cold, cold stone, right? This was the true Antarctica or Arctica person, was part of the ice cubes, from there. And didn't want to have anything to do with me till this day, right? And I had to accept, right? And I couldn't get over until I went to another relationship. And that one also, she felt that I am not someone that she's going to be comfortable with for the long term. It was amazing. She loved me a lot. I loved her a lot. We shared a lot of things in common. But the problem was I was 19 years old and she was 30 years old, right? So we had a good time and it was really amazing because I used strategies, to win her over, and psychology and, pursue, like manipulation, right? Use manipulation. And she didn't know I was playing her, and got to the happy ending, right? And repeated it, right? And she, of course, she got torn in, emotionally as well. But she started to see reality because her friends and all in her age group, and then she couldn't see. She said, You're gonna get, you're gonna qualify. You're gonna be so successful, and you're gonna be 25, and I'm gonna be a bit old for you, and I'm gonna be 36, and maybe and you're still young. I don't trust that I am the last person you're going to have a relationship with. I'm just one of the first few, and I don't want to go longer in this and break myself later. I'm in a mature level. I need something that I know I can take for the long term. I do not believe a 19-year-old is going to be for the long term for me. And although you may believe it, I don't think you know what you are talking about. You are still young, right? Is what she said. And truest words, but I did not accept what she said. I was killing. And she said, I said, no, but I love you so much. I cannot get over you. She said, with time, you will get over me. I said, no, I don't believe I will ever get over you. Yes, I eventually got over her because I went into other relationships, right? Immediately. Right? I was young because testosterone is dictating. Hormones are dictating, right? You can't spend time. I didn't have time to spend on morning. So this is one of the other reasons to be healthy, and doing yoga. Your hormones will propel you to another relationship. You won't be able to stay without a relationship, right? Have to have a relationship, right? Because your biology is gonna force you into it. Although your heart, is elsewhere. So I went into it, although my heart was tied to her for life, I thought, right? And I went into other relationships, which were absolutely amazing, right? Couple was not good, and then amazing relationship, right? And she even commented when she, met me, or when we spoke once, after that, she says, "But very quickly you've moved on." Because I was trying to get her back, right? But she knew I was moving on and seeing other people. I said, "No, but they don't mean, to me what you mean to me." She said, "I don't believe you," right? But she, was a very intelligent woman, and I'm thankful to have someone like her that, intelligently spoke to me and advised me that time heals. And it took me a long time to get over, and many, relationships later. And it took me about 10 years to get over her, right? And I was so committed to her, and coming from a yoga sciences point of view, right? So one of my teachers says, when you get intimately involved with someone, especially you go to the level of intimacy, right? You share intimacy together, right? On the highest level, there is a psychic bond that's between you two. It's like a thick rope. It's people with a spiritual eye can see it's like a white color rope, right? Like a white light. It doesn't matter what kilometers apart you are across borders, that thing is going. So someone sees you, they can see with the spiritual eye who and how many you are connected to. When you have the spiritual eye, you'll know if your partner is unfaithful to you or not, if there's any new connections, right? You'll know all the old connections, all the relationships that you had, or if she's really a virgin, right? You will know without doing any test, just with the spiritual eye. But once you have the intimacy and the connection is there, and you break the relationship, that psychic connection takes 12 years to release. So you are connected to that person. So it's not like after 12 years, okay, now you're released, now you're free. Now we switch it off, the love off. Gradually it gets weaker, 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 weaker. year. So by the 10th year, I felt, it's like almost finished, right? So I still have like a special, but I'm not like pining over her right now, right? Um, and it's been like decades, I'm now 56. I was 19 at the time, and not pining over and so forth, right? So coming back to the story, you've met this person, so there are ways you can employ. So remember the serenity prayer. Give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the power to change the things that can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There's some women you're going to be able to get, or men you're going to be able to get, or whatever is your choice, right? You're going to be able to get that person easily, some with some difficulty, some you will never be able to get, right? So depending how much, you have to go in, and with time, if you never had intimacy with them, right, it's not going to take you 12 years and 10 years to get over them, right? You're going to meet someone else and move on. Yes, you got a soft spot for that person, right? And you will always have. So that person that I had that crush on, till today I have that soft spot for them, right? And sometimes we come across each other, and she obviously doesn't even think of me in that way or in any other way. Talks totally normally, but like my heart skips a beat, right? When you come across that. So how to win the love of your life? So from these few stories, I hope intermingling it with yoga and meditation, the stories and practical examples may give you some perspective and help you in some way, and take care of yourself always.